do it.
Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta. Ooh, that's a good sprinkle. All right, Tim, you're coming straight out of a fantasy draft. How'd you do? Did you get all the players?
I'm still in the draft right now.
Oh, man. Multitasking.
3 more rounds to go. Yeah, so did pretty well. Better balance than last year. Somehow last year I ended up with like wide receivers and running backs from the same team. This time I kind of spread it out a little bit, so I should be in a better state.
That's what she said.
Yeah, bye weeks are something that I never think about until I'm like 10 rounds
until it's over.
I got like 2 or 3 people left to go, and I'm like, oh crap! I guess I don't draft the defense of the team that I have 3 or 4 players on for the same bye week. So
I mean, so the last couple wide receiver, running back, flex type players that you do after game 1, you're gonna trade them out anyway. Probably because then you're going to know who actually is
right.
making that's your best guess, which our best guess always sucks. And so there's always going to be players available in week 1 that you're going to trade those guys out for.
Well, I did get Patrick Mahomes in one league and Travis Kelce in another league, so I will be watching some Kansas City football this season.
I grabbed Kelce in the 2nd round in my draft because I was like, if he's still there in the 2nd round, he's that good. He's that much better than other tight ends. I should say.
I've been in this league for almost 15. This one I got Kelce in. I've been in this league for almost 15 years. We'll get to Georgia State stuff in a minute, I promise. But I've had the first season I was in the league, I drafted like 4 Falcons players because I'm an idiot. And so I just named my team Riding Dirty. I thought that would be my little Atlanta reference. And I've never changed it. Even if I don't have any Falcons players, like I've kept the team name Riding Dirty. I drafted Travis Kelce in the middle of the draft. I changed my team name to Riding Swifties. So
nice.
I like it.
All right.
Nice choice.
On to Georgia State. Had a bit of a game this past week.
Did we?
Yeah.
We had a
really
good
nice
tailgate.
It was good for part of it.
Tailgate. Yeah, first half. I'll let you guys say whatever you want to say about the game, but I was talking to somebody else about it earlier today, and I was, tailgated all day long. I was feeling pretty good during the game, and I just remember the game sucking. That's all I remember is the game sucking. And then Ryan, I did what you did, and I watched that 30-minute condensed version of the game.
Yep,
we looked good.
We're great.
That's the thing is it was I think this is what you're going to get from everywhere, but it was death by 1,000 cuts with our tiny mistakes. We just had lots of little mistakes here and there. We also had lots of really big plays and move the ball pretty easily up until the end zone, which, that can, Tim, you as a Georgia fan with me, that can be really problematic. But it's fixable. And all the little mistakes, you clean up half of them, and we're a lot better in that game. So we stopped them from scoring a ton of points until really the very end, where their depth is going to outshine us anyway. So I'm just not that mad.
We also learned that Florida State's not very good either.
Florida State's also not all with it.
So where does that leave Tech? I don't know. I
think Tech is pretty good.
We could have scored. We could have scored a lot more. Obviously, going down to the 1-yard line and not getting in twice essentially is and then letting them in twice on 4th down is also where's the goal line of every year past? We don't. Where to go?
If I'm not mistaken, the at halftime it was a 1-score game basically. Right? Wasn't 12-3 or something like that? 12-3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And that includes us being in the red zone twice and getting nothing out of it.
Well, and then right into the half. I mean, if we could have held them a play more or something, they
Right.
they wouldn't have scored right there at the end of the second half. And I mean, that changes the whole momentum of the game. Going into that, those always kill you. It's like that very last second. Oh, we just made it in. That just kind of sucks. So
we were talking about this. People were talking about this. We were talking about the them playing in Dublin. An ocean away and wearing on them and all that kind of stuff. The other side of that is they did have a week to prepare for playing a season of college football, and I don't know how much of that had to do with it, but it seemed like the mistakes we made are why a lot of teams like to schedule their FCS opponent as their first game of the season, because you can knock that rust off.
Mhm.
And
We need some Rust-Oleum is what we need.
We don't need no. There's no rust. There's no rust. We just need a lot of gel. We just need tons
Lots
of
of gel.
but
we gotta lube it up.
This was a team that had never played together. This is a coaching staff that had never worked together as an entire staff. So there's a lot of things that got to work out. I did watch the presser with Coach McGee, Coach AD McGee, and I will say, trick to that on YouTube, put it on a 1.5 speed, and you can get through Coach McGee's chill speaking
Demeanor.
It's just fast enough where you're like, yeah, I got it.
It's like I'm still understanding everything that's going on, and I'm watching this 9-minute thing, and
it just sounds like a normal person now.
I like to watch videos on YouTube at like 2x sometimes, because people talk this slow in their YouTube videos to get you to watch.
I don't think I've ever been accused of talking too slow.
No, probably not.
I have accused others of hearing too slow. So. All right. So I think the first big question that came out from when the game started was Vayer got the start at quarterback.
Yeah,
not
pleasantly
Gibson.
surprised by that. I really thought it was going to be Zach Gibson just because he had the spring practice under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
But turns out that's just like 2 weeks. So you're gonna still have a better quarterback, and if everyone is still brand new, maybe you try to do it. And I think he did a pretty fair job. I wasn't mad at him at all.
Tim, what did you think of his play?
I think it was better than I expected, and also at the same time, I think when he got rushed a little bit, he made some bad throws.
Mm-hmm.
He overthrew someone on, was it 4th down, I think, in the end zone. Like we had that touchdown. He just got nervous when someone started rushing at him, and he threw it high and fast. So I think he'll calm down in game 2 for sure. The defense will be a lot slower.
We also had a touchdown where he dropped it. It was a little bit like a reach. I was like scared to watch it, even when I was watching a replay. But I was like, oh, that's a crappy pass, and the wide receiver just sort of made his way to it, and it worked out. And the announcers were like, oh, he dropped it right in, and I'm like, a little,
did he? A little, but there was a lot of
but that's fine.
There were drop passes that were right in the numbers. There were very, very catchable balls that were just dropped.
That was Denver's feedback. She was like, there were some wide receivers that really just shit the bed.
Yeah. So I thought that was not great. I was surprised about Zach Gibson not getting the start, but which is weird because I thought that Vayer was going to have it the entire time, right? Because he was just brought in. Zach Gibson was already on staff. He's on the team, and then you go out and you find another guy, and you find a guy that's got more years of eligibility left, because Zach's only got the 1 year, I think. Yeah. So I felt like that he was going to get it, but then the rumors that started coming out of the practices was that Zach was going to get the start. And so I would just settled into that and just assumed that, we'll have a 1 year quarterback, and then wasn't the case.
See, here's the deal. I think no one knew. Like literally no one but
just people starting rumors
knew. But that's typically what it would have been is like the person who looks like Zach Gibson. And so I think it made sense to go with it, but like maybe not so hard and heavy as we got, because like we were basically assured it was going to be him, beforehand. It felt like people really assumed that was going to happen. So
I did like seeing Freddie Brock out there getting some touches and doing Freddie Brock things. Yeah, I was nervous that we were not going to see a lot of him. Yeah, that was Brock with the rock.
He had some super large gains during it, I think, and What was the other running back that did really well?
I know you're talking about. I can't. The name's escaping me right now.
I should have had the player's name up in front of me. That'd been smart.
Honestly, in the interview that we did right before this, and people will probably listen to it after, I talked about how like a good offensive line is going to make a lot of running backs look good. And so to me, I did see like multiple running backs do really well. I saw Vayer. Is that how you say his name? It's
Vayer. Darth
Vayer.
Like
Vader,
but
Vayer.
Vader without the D.
Yeah.
Vayer. Okay. Yeah. So I saw him.
Ooh.
There were a couple plays where he even like he's sort of lanky and not super fast. But he made a couple of runs that were pretty decent pickups. I think our offensive line is probably pretty good. But that's the only evidence I have because I don't know how to judge an offensive line except for by offensive production. So
I think we got a little too easy to read. Like all the dink and dunk passes, screens, they started getting really close to picks every single time. Like we would throw a screen, bubble screen, and all that. They never got it. I mean, which is great.
In fact, Kenyatta Watson got a pick against his former team.
Yes. Well, he was due, right? I
Yeah.
told Wreck-It Talk or Rec Talk, whatever they're called.
Wreck-It Ralph.
I told Wreck-It Ralph that he was due for a pick and we got
you're
one.
not supposed to give his name.
Oh shit.
but to that end, Rec Talk Ralph was at the tailgate. So it was actually good to actually meet somebody. Yeah. To the other podcasters that say they're gonna come to our tailgate or we can go to theirs.
Host us. Yeah.
Yeah. So about the tailgate, I feel like we wrapped it up pretty early.
Did we? There were some
all of a sudden.
Post 7.
There were some people that wanted to go to that Georgia State pregame.
The other one, yeah,
the 5 o'clock one. I think so.
We wandered over there, and some folks got some beers and stuff. I didn't go in there. I didn't buy tickets. I didn't want to.
I remember being at the tailgate, and I remember being at the game. That walk over to the game is kind of a fuzzy memory to me.
We were excited.
I only got one beer at the game. I only got one beer at the game. I didn't finish it.
I think I had 2. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That was rough. 8 o'clock kick. Man,
it was really hot.
That's a long time to drink.
And we'll get into it later. But 7 o'clock kick this week, so it's not going to be that much better.
When it's really hot outside and you confuse beer with water and you just keep drinking beer, bad things happen. And then you think shots are water and you start drinking all of those. And then, at some point you're like, where am I?
Golden Panther success. It was a Golden Panther success.
I will tell you, I told Mac that we needed more.
We ran out.
It got drank. I mean, people really like that Wild Leap. So
Ryan, you'll like this because I know that you don't get a chance to frequent Panther Talk any longer. And somebody posted on there that they went down to Wild Leap to pick up some Golden Panther to watch the game on TV or to take their tailgate. I missed what it was for, and they said that it was all out. So he was complaining. He was blaming Georgia State, and then he was like, "I'm kidding. Wild Leap just needs to have more on premises,
more production."
And Ben, our good buddy Ben Moore said, "I blame the state of Atlanta guys. It was our fault."
Well, so I went into Max today to get some beer and some ingredients for our coming tailgate, and I talked to them about it. They had a Governor's Cup that was Georgia State versus Georgia Tech, but it wasn't who won the game. It was whose beer sold more. Who sold more beer, and it was us. We sold more beer that week at Max.
Cheers.
And maybe we had like a case and a half on just alone, and they counted it. But still,
that didn't count. That was free.
I mean, count it.
Look, at the end of the day, Wild Leap is the better brewery anyway. So
for sure. Oh man,
just to stop there.
Georgia Tech. I didn't even
New Realm
on the Beltline / Old Dominion.
Unless New Realm wants to pay us money, their beer definitely does suck in comparison to Wild Leaps.
They have some good dark beers.
They do, but not at a tailgate.
I've always said that if I go to a brewery, unless it's a sour brewery, that there's at least one beer that's always on the menu that I'm like, oh wow, you know what? That's actually really good. New Realm, I've always been like, oh, I guess I can drink this.
I've been there twice and gotten like 3 or 4 of their darker beers.
Their
and
setup is
I've
great. I
enjoyed
love
it.
that little setting out there, that long stretch they
Yeah,
have overlooking
it's
the belt
nice.
line. It's
It
sharp.
is
It's great.
beautiful. Yeah.
If their beer was halfway as good as their setup is, I would be there a lot more. How I wouldn't. I don't get to go out other than games.
Well, we got the Governor's Cup at Max. That's all that
The
matters.
Governor Cup at Max. I like it. Speaking of Governor's Cup, there was some questions that were asked to Charlie Cobb and the mayor about, getting this series extended. Ryan, don't get afraid. Not like the mayor was going to force it or whatever, but the response was it would be great if it's extended. And I think Charlie Cobb's actual words were, "But it takes two to tango," meaning that Tech doesn't seem like they're going to want to extend the series after 2026. But
it was a serious experiment. It was this. Oh, that'd be great. The mayor or the governor just put law into action on good things like this.
Exactly. It's okay to abuse the government when you're getting your way.
Yeah. Road construction.
I prioritize my activism all the time. The government does so much bad stuff. You can't just oppose all of it. So sometimes you just gotta take it.
You're coming around a little bit, right? All right, let's see what else.
I will say overall, all blue looks really good on TV.
That's another thing I was going to say, Tim. You got it right.
Perfect.
Are these new jerseys or specifically new helmets? Because those helmets looked bright, and maybe it's just the white reflecting off the Georgia Tech players, but those helmets look like they were shining blue, like they were lighting it blue. Those guys looked fantastic out there in the field. It was awesome. I agree, Tim. Sorry.
No, I'm looking at. I took some notes on some sketch paper here, and I'm just like, punch it in, meaning you can't go over when you're that close to freaking end zone. Vayer needs to calm down.
Yep,
and get effing set, because his fumble was, we weren't set, and we're like making these first game jittery mistakes, but when we would make them, that's how Tech got easy points. I mean, they got huge runs by easy mistakes we made just because we weren't ready. We weren't.
Yep.
It was the first game. We just weren't ready for everything. Of course, the sky is falling if you read some fans' reactions. So
that, okay, again,
it's not falling for me.
So that was my next question, was going to be, or at least it's a question I had listed. Based off this one game, is anybody willing or ready to start changing predictions on what the season's going to look like? Tim, you had a more rational approach to predicting games. Ryan, more rational.
The first game right.
First game right. Ryan had more rational than me, and some would say that mine was irrational projections. But how we feeling after a loss where Tech beat the spread? Do we feel the same? Better? I doubt we're feeling better. How are we feeling?
I think I said in the last podcast we would lose, and I just didn't want to lose by more than 30. I don't want to be completely blown out, and I don't feel like rewatching the game we really were. We just made a couple of mistakes here and there, and that led to 14, 21 points. Mm-hmm. And we just couldn't execute on little things on offense that caused us to get to 12, and that's it. Right. Yeah. So you clean up a couple things here and there. It's a different result. The game's much closer. It's tighter. We go down that first drive and score. The whole thing's different. Start to finish.
There was a lot of raw talent on display. And I'd say raw, I mean raw. And that's what I mean by like death from a thousand cuts is like
no lube.
Just yeah. Raw. It's got to lube it up a little bit, No, but like we really, as if we clean up the game even just a little bit. I mean, the Sun Belt isn't going to know what hit them, really. No, I mean, our guys were competing athletically with the Georgia Tech guys, no problem. It was just these mistakes here and there. They had no problem overpowering. They had no problem outrunning. They had no problem juking, making moves, getting making plays for themselves. And
if I'm not mistaken, it was Vayer was not sacked, but King was sacked. Yeah. So like
crazy.
Our offensive line, excuse me, I have Dragon Con crud going through my veins right now. So our offensive line did their job in protecting Vayer and opening up some stuff for Freddie Brock. obviously, Tech did their job as well, but our defense was able to get to King. So, yeah, I think that we should take it easy on the Mocs on Saturday, not show them too much, so that we can just obliterate, steamroll, run the Sun Belt, run the SBC.
What was the score in Tennessee? 69-3. Let's do that.
Yes, and I knew for a fact you were going to say nice when that score came up.
I did. He ignored me. I don't think he heard me, but
I definitely gave you the head bob. Yep, you got it.
I couldn't just not say it.
I knew it. I knew for a fact. I was when I was putting the stuff together, I was like, Ryan's going to say nice when the score comes up. But yeah, so let's talk about Chattanooga.
Choo choo.
They got steamrolled by Tennessee. I mean, which is fair. I think Tennessee was ranked 15 or 14 going into that game. You're talking about an FCS opponent.
You're supposed to lose by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, what, 68 scholarship players or something, as opposed to 84 in the
53
FBS
or something
of paid employees in the FBS. Professional athletes.
I mean, anytime you put up 69 points on the team, I mean that's really just kind of having your way with them. But
you're doing a lot of things right.
It's also you're talking about a good SEC team against an FCS team. That's what's supposed to happen. Whenever like. It'd be more surprising if the game was Tennessee won 25-23. Then we'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, we'd really be worried about this.
Scared.
I think it's going to be a really good tune-up for us, and I think it's probably pretty good that we lost. That our guys are not going to be like riding high on it. They got I used the term thwapped in the interview, but we got thwapped pretty hard. And the guys probably can't feel too confident about that. But I do think, again, the raw talent, we should beat any FCS team. So even without cleaning stuff up. So take the opportunity to clean it up.
We should always beat FCS teams.
I don't know if you watched any of their games this week, but I don't want to schedule North Dakota State at all. Do not give me North Dakota State.
Well, they have like a decade of good seasons, don't they? I mean, they've been good for a long time.
Yeah. But we can't sleep on this Mocs team. They were in the playoffs last year. They won a game in the playoffs last year. They were predicted by almost everybody to be the first place team in the SoCon Conference.
None of that should matter. None of that should matter. We should win.
But what I'm saying is this is not a pushover team. Even though they got blown out by 66 points last week. This is not a pushover team, and we all are way too familiar with what it's like when Georgia State plays an FCS team. So
it's definitely I mean, in a way, it's a must-win game. You have to win this one. You can't go 0-2 into Vanderbilt, who looks much better than
Vandy beat Vatech.
What they should be. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and this is just our luck, right? Georgia Tech is like the
better
has been bad for the last like decade and a half, and
this year
we get them, and they're like, oh, they're the sleeper in the ACC. They knock off number 10 FSU, and then come in and like beat the snot at us, and it's like, all right, well, they're a good team. Shit.
Well, it's the same thing about when we scheduled UNC. We scheduled UNC when they were supposed to be getting restrictions and whatever it's called, and then that didn't happen, and they got Mac Brown, and they were good, and they beat us.
That was like that essay, right? That like that paragraph that was like an essay for one of the football players or whatever. Yeah, that was good. That was fun stuff.
How many points do you score on a 3-pointer? Yeah.
Well, so more importantly about Saturday, what's our menu? Do we have any?
Well,
ideas?
We will not have the pizza oven there, or the pizza oven administrators. None of them will be there. So it's going to be falling on us. I can always bring the smash burgers out.
Well, I vote for that.
Yeah, those are always a hit. Yeah.
So maybe I can do that. We have 7:00 kick. So a late game, as Ryan alluded to earlier, we're finally going to start trying to do this official State of Atlanta Georgia State tailgate cocktail contest.
I told you I went by Max. I've been waiting.
Oh, okay. Look at that. You got
yeah.
I like it. I like it.
I'm not gonna give away what's in it because I'm pretty sure we're gonna enter this. I have another one too that I may enter. Are we gonna do 2? Are we gonna allow people to do as many as they like, or?
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Sure. Why
And
not?
now, I was saying this needs to be a season-long thing, but Ryan wants to do it all in one tailgate.
Well, I think whatever wins, we have a picture of it at every game, or a cooler of it, or whatever wins on Saturday.
However you make it, if
A bib you can sneak into the game, whatever.
If it lends itself to something that could be in a cooler or a water cooler, then absolutely. But maybe people are get fancy with
I would say mine is a little too fancy for like a water cooler, like a Gatorade cooler. But a pitcher would probably be appropriate.
A cool pitcher.
Right, we need to get some. Or I need to compile the rules because you seem to know how you want to run this thing. We'll get that out there for this week.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, no, I just think it'd be a nice prize to have your drink at every tailgate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there will be, I don't know what the prizes are yet, other than it becoming the official cocktail, but I want to do a prize for best name too. So, and I think, it doesn't have to be blue, but I think it makes sense to be blue.
I think we're going to have a lot of blue, but that'd be fine.
I'm thinking of some drink ideas that I had back when I was in college, and they sound disgusting right now.
There's going to be a lot of blue curacao. I'll tell you what.
Blue curacao is going to be all over the place. Someone's going to bring like a blender or something. I guarantee you we're going to have this like some slushy type thing going on.
I'm okay with that, especially with
with it's hot as balls.
An all day tailgate. Yep.
Yeah.
It is. We do have more news on tailgate. So this is the first week of the new on the bricks / the brickyard / whatever you want to call it parking in Victory Plaza.
I don't expect. I didn't get either. I don't have brick space.
You didn't get an email?
No, I don't have brick space. So
I don't think I do either.
I'll be.
I thought you were a grandfather. No,
my kids aren't that old, Tim.
No, Ryan.
No, so the space is anyone. Anyone can reserve a space. It doesn't take any kind of donation. The donation is for a tent and a table.
It's interesting. So this season, they are encouraging you to tailgate with your vehicle. Tailgating is allowed from your vehicles and is encouraged. So I don't yeah.
So yeah, but we have plenty of access to people that have. Well,
we do.
Ryan, so what you're saying, I can still wheel my tent in from the green lot and put it up.
Yes. And I'm not terribly worried because we're gonna beat everybody there. So we'll be able to like figure out the lay of the land.
Tailgating, you can do whatever you want. You just can't interfere with anyone else's ability to drive or park. So it's going to be a little bit of a let's get there, set up.
Well, the whole thing's not a parking lot, right? It's just the smaller side, I think.
I don't know. I have no clue how this is going to work.
If they fill that whole place with cars, I will be angry.
Oh, would we like you when you're angry?
And I don't know if anything will happen because I'm angry. I mean, I'll just sit there and wallow in my anger.
Says there's no designated.
I'll write a strongly worded letter to somebody.
Yeah. It says no designated or reserved spots to tailgate. All areas within the plaza are available to all Georgia State supporters. If you're parking on the plaza, please feel free to tailgate outside of your vehicle. That's the second time they said that.
Yeah, I think there's vehicle area and not vehicle area.
We're not doing, so we got to go away from that. If you reserve your tailgating amenities, you can collect those items from a representative located near Gate 7. Like, I know what that is. I don't know where Gate 7 is, but that's where I'm going.
It's not going to be at Gate 7 on game day anyway. You know how it goes.
No.
It's going to be somewhere else, and we're going to have to, we'll figure it out, and people will ask us, and we'll have to tell them where it is.
How's this work? Yeah, it says otherwise. Feel free to tailgate outside of your vehicle. That's 3 times they said the same thing.
Wow.
They really want us to tailgate outside the vehicle. I don't want to do that. There, we're done.
Okay, cool. We'll figure it out. We'll be there first. We'll let you guys know. Right?
Yeah. And we are I said it like it was a bad thing, but we are happy to get there early, figure it out, and anyone just come ask us. We probably know the answer, or we
Oh,
can
and also,
figure it
I
out
meant to
with
say
you.
this earlier. Just because it popped up earlier. But I actually got a message from Brett while we're recording this episode asking if we were going to be tailgating on Saturday. And Brett,
Yes.
Nope, not this Saturday. Nope.
No,
man.
we're just gonna go to the game at 7. We're gonna skip all the fun.
Yeah. We'll get him. We'll get him right.
Yeah, we'll show up Saturday. We'll figure out how the tailgating works this year, and we'll tell them how it's gonna work this year. It's pretty much what we did last year and the year before that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. For more information on the game and what to expect from Chattanooga, check out the part 2 of this episode where Ryan and I talked to Chris Goforth, who of 92.9 The Game fame. And actually, I didn't realize this. Actually, calling for a bunch of the Monarch. I keep calling them Monarchs. The Mocs game. I think I called them Monarchs in the very first thing I said.
You
The
did.
Monarch
interview.
Marks.
Don't put that bad
yeah.
juju on them.
Yeah.
But so I think that covers the Chattanooga aspect of it. Before we get out of here this week, the only thing I wanted to see if you guys wanted to talk about was what happened with any of the Sun Belt games. I don't know if you paid attention to or any college football games for that matter, because Tim, you didn't mention Florida State.
I mean, that was pretty sad. Boston College. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what
Florida
happened?
State.
I didn't think
Oh, they lost. Yeah, they're 0-2.
Yeah, but they didn't lose. I mean, Boston College.
They lost.
Like, I had no problem handling Florida State in Tallahassee. And so I think Florida State has this week off on their bye week, and then Memphis is coming to town. But they were
turns out good scheduling to have that early bye.
Well, yeah. After an Ireland trip, get a bye weekend early. But somebody was making a comment about no one's more mad about how Florida State's doing right now than Memphis, because Memphis is trying to get that college football playoff spot. They wanted to have a quality win over Florida State, and now it looks like they'll just beat a dead team. So, but somewhat related, Southern got torched by a single player on the Boise State team.
It was like a barn burner. No one played defense, apparently.
One player on Boise State's team scored 6 touchdowns against Trash Down South, and it was not the quarterback.
It's got to be a record, right? It's a record.
Yeah, we lost our record, huh? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I don't think the point, because it was still Trash Down South still put up points, and I think what our record was the biggest margin of victory, but I do think that has been beaten since we did the 34-7. Yeah. But yeah, so that I knew that Boise State was going to beat them. I'm glad that they did, and it's just funny that I think his name is Ashton, something like
Who
that.
cares? We're not playing him.
Yeah, but 6 touchdowns by himself against Trash Down South. Then the real big story, I think, from the Sun Belt games is Arkansas State was playing Central Arkansas in town or in-state FCS opponent, and they won by 3. But after the game was over, the winning touchdown, the Sun Belt head of officials reached out to Central Arkansas and said that play they overruled was incorrect, and that touchdown would not have stood. It was an incomplete pass. So Arkansas State won on a bad call that gave him a touchdown that would have been an incomplete pass. Now, there was a 4th down involved. They would have been able to go for it again.
Yeah, so you can't just throw it out because they had another chance.
You want to score it, and you want to score it because we said so.
I haven't seen. I've seen a couple of still pics. I haven't seen video of it yet. But yeah, it blatantly looks like this receiver was out of bounds when he got control of the ball, and they went to the review, and I think it was ruled incomplete on the field.
And they reversed it.
And they went to the video booth, and video booth changed it from an incompletion to a touchdown. And this is
the only reason why I'm bringing
it.
One, I'm bringing this up because it's hilarious, and these are Sun Belt refs. This is not.
I was going to say we need them to come to our house.
Well, Arkansas State is coming to our house. So this is a team that needed ref officiating help to beat an FCS team. Assuming we do our job against our FCS team, then, this skews towards us having the advantage over Arkansas State, unless the Sun Belt refs are going to try to make it up to them by
screwing us
fixing a
over
game for them. Yeah. So the only other thing that I saw of note worth bringing up was Old Dominion, obviously a team that we play. They lost to South Carolina, but by 4 points,
barely
23-19. So I don't know if
What
that
does
says
that
more
mean?
about South Carolina or more about Old Dominion. How was
Sean
the
Clark's
line
looking
game?
pretty good to be a head coach next year, huh?
Yeah.
Elliot's ready from his boat.
Was there no running game coordination again for South Carolina? Was that their problem?
Or he's going to lose his job. I don't know. It depends how you look at it.
Yeah. But that's all I had for this week, guys. I don't know about y'all.
No, that's good.
No, just the game we played, the game we're doing, and
Gonna play and
some interview that I'll have to listen to.
yeah, Chris Goforth is fantastic. He is great.
Is he?
He's a really nice guy.
He's a super great guy. We get off the rails a little bit on a couple of topics. We do cover traffic.
Barbecue?
No,
Traffic? We got Crash Clark going on.
Yeah. But no, it's a great interview. He's a good guy. He's an alum of Chattanooga. He's buddies with Coach Rusty Wright, who was a former assistant coach here at Georgia State before getting the head coaching job up there. We talk about Coach Sean. It's a good time. Give it a listen. It'll be it should play right after this if you're listening to the podcast. And if you're not and you're watching on YouTube, it should play right after. There should be a little thing right there. Right there. Right there. So all right. With that, Tim, bring us home.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. We're going to head over to Last Call. We're going to drink some more, probably use the bathroom because it's been an hour and 26 minutes. If you like what you heard or if you didn't, don't worry about it. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/State of Atlanta. You'll get access to Last Call. You'll get discounts on merch. You'll get free booze at tailgates. You'll get hugs from David, maybe Ryan, maybe Tim. We'll see. It's $5 a month to join. Support the show. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.